Mike Campbell here, Real Deal, Evander Holyfield. Evander, thanks for taking the time.
You're welcome.
From BoxTalk.com, I want to give you the opportunity to counter some of the statements that have been in the media lately. Recently, your name was implicated in an SI article with a doctor in a distribution ring for steroids and human growth hormone and other performance-enhancing drugs, along with Gary Matthews Jr. What do you know about this particular doctor, why your name was on his customer list?
Well, I really don't know. Actually, and I only met Gary Matthews Jr. in Dallas when I had a fight there. He gave me a baseball bat to give to my son, and so personally, I don't even know how this really came about.
Have you ever used any performance-enhancing drugs, steroids?
No, not at all. I'm one of the type of people that I do believe that doing things right is the only way to do it. Not like I ain't been somebody that offered it. As a matter of fact, when I first turned heavyweight, I was asked by some people. Some people were telling me all these people who do it, and personally, I said no, that's not me.
That is one reason people often would implicate you, because you were naturally a light heavyweight, not a light heavyweight, but a junior heavyweight, what they called it back then, now cruiserweight, and you moved up to heavyweight, so you had to put on mass.
Well, the fact of the matter is that the reason why my weight was low, because I used to run 7 miles a day, and I would eat 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day. So once I started to mature and move up to the heavyweight division, we did it the proper way, and with Tim Hallmark, and we train each and every day, and you got to understand, my weight never fluctuated. I'm saying, when I was, my first heavyweight fight, I went from 190 to 202, but that part of 202 was a lot of fluids. I drank 2 quarts of fluids just before I got on the scales, and I weighed with my clothes on. I was probably weighing 195 at that point in time. Mm-hmm. My heavyweight championship fight, I weighed 206. And of course, at the time I fought Reddy Bow, my weight went to 215, 220. But I never got past 220 in no fights.
It's always been a gradual increase. You never really put on a lot of weight in between fights.
Well, and plus I ain't never been heavy when I'm not fighting. So I walk around in the weight that I fight in, and and the reason why I do that, because it's easier to maintain than to rebuild.
So, do you believe that the use of performance-enhancing drugs is cheating?
Well, it is, because anything illegal is cheating. And the point is the fact of the matter is that in anything that you do, and I'm talking even from the Olympics, they have all the things that on the banned list that you can't use. And some of the medication you can't have. You can't have no NyQuil. You can't have all
histamines,
these, all these different things. So these are the things that I grew up ever since '84, understanding that these are the things that get you banned and all this. And so even, especially in boxing, if you're on any medication, you have to let these people know what kind of medication you're on even before you fight. You have to let them know before you get tested where you won't get flagged for it.
Now, your career spans kind of the era of performance-enhancing drugs back from the 80s, in amateurs through the Olympics and as a pro. So you've seen it all. You've probably seen, like you mentioned, other fighters that have been implicated. Well, how prevalent is the use of performance-enhancing drugs in boxing, especially amongst the heavyweights, obviously?
Well, you can see and you can look at some of the people's bodies and tell that, well, you ain't find nothing in their urine and all this, but you get to wonder, how could a guy come in at 200 as a light heavy, then all of a sudden one day he 235 pounds.
Sure.
I'm telling you, it's almost human impossible to gain 35 pounds that quick, that solid, and all that. I'm telling you, but in general, my weight I ain't never been able to gain no 20 pounds and 30 pounds and all this, and it's obvious that it's humanly impossible for somebody to gain 45 pounds naturally just by eating in a month or 2 months. I mean, you just ain't gonna you ain't gonna become that big, that quick. I'm saying you it's people who light heavy. Then they first fight, they fought 235. How in the world do you come from 175 to 235? I don't know how you do that. Because my whole thing is that ever since 1988, when I became undisputed cruiserweight, when I went up, I couldn't do it.